Today on Peace Talks Radio, the Rainbow Gatherings.
There it is, the welcome home sign.
Each year for over 35 years now, thousands have converged on national forest land around the 4th of July to celebrate freedom and pray for peace.
10,000 people come together and to try and manifest that kind of intention. I'm not naive, but it can't hurt.
What have you heard about the Rainbow Gathering?
Conflicting stories. One, that they're a threat, another, that they're peaceful. So I came here to find out.
We'll take you inside the 2009 event in New Mexico to find out if there are real peace lessons to be learned from the Rainbow Gatherings.
Is how do the Rainbows deal with somebody who comes there who's angry, who's yelling at people?
What do they do?
Hug them, ask them if you'd like some tea, just kind of smile at them to see if they want to go swimming.
Inside the Rainbow Gatherings.
It's like going camping with 7,000 of your best friends.
Today on Peace Talks Radio. This is Peace Talks Radio, the series on peacemaking and nonviolent conflict resolution. On our program, we look at peacemakers throughout history and discuss strategies for resolving conflict nonviolently in our lives every day. I'm series producer Paul Ingalls, and our co-founder, occasional host, and now field correspondent, Suzanne Kreider, had the idea for today's program. 2 words she said to me, Rainbow Gathering. Suzanne is here in the studio with me now. Hi, Suze.
Hey, Paul.
So, what had you heard about the Rainbow Gathering that made you think it was a good Peace Talks Radio topic? Maybe starting with what it is and how and why it started.
The Rainbow Gathering started in July 1972 in Colorado. It was formed by a group of young people from the West Coast who wanted to create a temporary communal community. I'd heard about the gathering for years and had this stereotypical view, that's just a bunch of hippies in the mud. But a friend of mine who I met about a year ago told me that he went to the gatherings a lot and that there was really a more serious purpose. There are 2 purposes to the gathering. The first one is for a communal group to live peacefully together with each other and with the earth. The second purpose is for once these people gather, they pray for peace together. I thought those were 2 really strong reasons to try a Peace Talks show.
Yeah, and I agreed. So I remember you telling me gleefully one day that the 2009 gathering was going to be held in New Mexico near our show's home base here in Albuquerque and that you wanted to go. So how did you prep for it?
I wanted to get more of an informational or theoretical background, so I did some research on the web. I found an amazing book by Mike Nyman called People of the Rainbow. He has a very, very detailed history. It was his doctoral dissertation. It's an ethnographic study of the Rainbow people.
Plus he teaches on the college level.
Exactly. He teaches American Studies at the University of Buffalo. We talked with Mike Nyman from radio station WBFO near his home in Buffalo, New York. He started by comparing the Rainbow Gathering to other historic communal groups.
The term utopia actually means no place. It stems from the Greek because you really can't have a utopia. But what the rainbows do is they aspire towards a utopia. They move themselves in that direction and create an example for society how we can move in that direction as well.
Well, how close do you think they've gotten to a peaceful community?
There's violence there, which is actually why it is, in fact, a peaceful community. If you have a society where there is no violence, then they actually are not confronted with violence and don't really have the opportunity to practice nonviolent conflict resolution. The rainbows, what really makes them rather unique among utopian societies is that they are non-exclusive. They accept everybody under rainbow ideology. Everybody with their belly button and those people without belly buttons are rainbows. So if you just show up at the Rainbow Gathering, including if you're a police officer who might not actually be there to participate, if you show up at a Rainbow Gathering, rainbows see you as a rainbow. And included in this group would be violent drunks who most folks would rather not associate with. But what they do is they provide Rainbow with the challenge of how do we confront this violence nonviolently. And if you look at the 37-year history of the Rainbow family, there's really some remarkable transformations, personal transformations. whereby people who originally came to the Rainbow Gathering as alcoholics who are violent, who actually wouldn't enter the Rainbow Gathering, they would camp on the outskirts in something called the A Camp, eventually, over the years, migrated into the Rainbow Gathering. Some people have spent, decades working in Kitty Village, for instance, in the child care center, or cooking. So there's a lot of transformations that do take place where there has been some success. And there's a lot of areas where there just hasn't been success, like any other, project.
It is a utopian community, and there's an excerpt from your book I'd like you to read on the bottom of page 204 about what makes the Rainbow Gathering unique. Could you read that for us, Mike?
Sure. It has no permanent settlement or land base, no assets, no formal organization, charismatic prophet, hierarchy, or identifiable leadership. It is non-sectarian and maintains no selective criteria to determine membership. Requires no material investment or personal sacrifice from recruits. It has no work routines or requirements. It does not encourage, discourage, or attempt to coordinate sexual relations. It does not require ideological conversion nor attempt to control child rearing. By all indications, looking at historical precedents, the family should have collapsed shortly after its inception in the early 1970s.
I'm going up to the gathering, and I'm really curious what it's going to be like to not have anybody in charge. There's basically no boss, and that's really different than most of society. There's a boss at work, you go into a store, there's a boss you can complain to. How does that work to not have a boss?
You're the boss, Suzanne. You're in charge.
Oh, good.
Right? But you're the boss of you, and you're the boss of everything that you can potentially have control over. So, the way it works in Rainbow, and this is also looking at the Rainbow economy in a lot of ways, is if you see something that needs to be done normally in outside society, what Rainbow's term is Babylon, normally we say somebody should, right, and then fill in the blank, somebody should do something about this. That you don't really use phrases like that at Rainbow gatherings. If you see something that needs to be done, you do it. It's even the way the Rainbows police themselves. The Shantasena, the Rainbow Police, is actually a body of the whole. If you see a problem, then suddenly you're Shantasena, which is why you have that feeling of safety and security at a Rainbow Gathering. It's not like you're anonymous in a city, you cry for help, and people will call 911 and look out the window and hope for the best. If a child is on the trail lost, suddenly everybody becomes a co-parent. Everybody becomes a helper. If you're complaining that the latrines aren't dug deep enough, then you should ask for a shovel. And, some people will be slackers, what the Rainbows call drainbows. And just kind of like other people will cook for them, other people will dig the latrines, make the trails, and so on. And they'll just kind of kick back. But the folks who really seem to be getting the most out of the gathering are the folks who really work. There's a kind of reward there.
Mike Nyman, it sounds like even though the Rainbow Gathering is a short-term experience of utopia, what could families learn from that?
Patience. Because I think one of the things they can get from the temporary autonomous zone is that this moment in time will pass. So eventually this problem will transform into something else. It might get worse. It might go away. It's just a matter of patience and looking forward. And then also, you have to go beyond the Taz theory and just start looking at the Rainbow's commitment to nonviolence. What is the alternative to shouting? What is the alternative to anger? How can I harmonize this? Ultimately, the person that you're angry at, if you really think about the situation and what they're feeling, you wind up feeling sorry for them, hence the drainbow. Instead of being angry that you're cooking for and cleaning up after this person, you just feel sorry for this person who is not really having that rewarding of an experience, because how rewarding can it be to just kind of not really take care of yourself?
I'm so curious going up there what it's going to be like. So there's going to be 8,000 to 10,000 people, and nobody's going to be screaming at each other. So what do they do instead of yelling at each other?
Oh, no, I didn't say nobody's going to be screaming at each other. You're going to probably encounter lots of people screaming at each other. And the interesting thing, as a student of nonviolence, is to look at how does the screaming end, right? So you want to look for where people are going to be yelling and screaming, because it's very stressful. You have all kinds of people coming in. And especially right now, it's a healing gathering. So lots of people just come to the gathering because they need healing in many ways. So you get a lot of street people, a lot of people who've been homeless, a lot of people who have incredible stress in their life, a lot of people who are, are powerless in their life, who have been abused, chronically, showing up at the Rainbow Gathering. So you do get people who are tweaked, right? People who are, stressed out and screaming. And what's interesting to really look at is how do the Rainbows deal with somebody who comes there who's angry, who's yelling at people?
What do they do?
Hug them, ask them if you'd like some tea, just kind of smile at them, see if they want to go swimming. It really put a hand on a shoulder if that's appropriate, or not put a hand on a shoulder if that's appropriate. It really, what's fascinating is the spontaneity of the creativity in confronting the specifics of a potentially violent conflict.
Do Rainbow family members take these concepts and techniques out into their daily lives when they go back to Babylon?
Hopefully. Nonviolence can be very simple. If somebody confronts me in the street, there's a potential for violence, and I turn around and I flee, that is a creative, nonviolent solution.
It's a nonviolent reaction, but it doesn't really help them. It doesn't really change their behavior, does it?
It helps them because it prevents them from being in a violent situation.
Okay.
If somebody wants to stab me in the street and I prevent him from stabbing me by running away, I've just saved this person from having to go through the criminal justice system as an assailant. One of the things that the Rainbow is teaching, the Rainbow family, is, especially for men, is to back away from that machismo training that we've been receiving all of our lives, especially through popular culture and media, that I can't allow somebody to insult me in the street, that I have to go, to the death here in this conflict.
That's Mike Nyman, author of the book People of the Rainbow, A Nomadic Utopia. Today on Peace Talks Radio, we're exploring the phenomenon of the Rainbow Gatherings, temporary intentional communities held annually since 1972 on public lands across the U.S. and occasionally internationally. More about this effort to promote peace, harmony, and freedom with Suzanne Kryder, who spent some time at the 2009 gathering in New Mexico, right after this break. You're listening to Peace Talks Radio, the series on peacemaking and nonviolent conflict resolution. I'm series producer Paul Ingalls with Suzanne Kryder, who's leading us through her journey into the 2009 Rainbow Gathering. You can hear Suzanne's entire Rainbow Gathering diary at our website, peacetalksradio.com. We're getting some highlights on today's show. As Suzanne said, each year since 1972, thousands of people have assembled in the first week of July in an outdoor setting to practice living in harmony with each other and with the land, and to pray for peace. That outdoor setting is usually national forest land near some community. So Suzanne, in 2009, how did this whole thing unfold for the event in New Mexico?
The planning for New Mexico had begun early in 2009. They had narrowed it down to a spot near Taos, Tres Piedras, and the location that they ended up selecting, which is near a small community named Cuba. Because the gatherings are always held on Forest Service land, the Forest Service requires that any large gathering of people sign a permit. Now, historically, the gathering hasn't signed permits because they feel they have a constitutional right to gather without having any kind of paperwork. In 2009, it was reported that a woman named Lisa Law from northern New Mexico did sign a Forest Service permit. So in the eyes of the Forest Service, the gathering was legal. And Lisa is known for being a member of the Hog Farm, which was a group that participated in Woodstock.
Right. So the next step was you'd heard there'd be a planning meeting in Cuba some weeks before the gathering and wanted to go up there. What happened up there?
The meeting in Cuba was an opportunity to bring all the stakeholders together so that they could meet each other and the local people could ask questions of both the Forest Service and of the Rainbow people. Here's a little bit of how that sounded.
My name is Catherine Gladwin. I'm here because I'm curious.
Are you a resident?
Yes, I've lived in Cuba about 20 years.
What have you heard about the Rainbow Gathering?
Well, conflicting stories. One, that they're a threat, another, that they're peaceful. So I came here to find out.
Like Catherine, I'm curious as to what's going on. My name is Laurie Drysdale. I've been up the hill twice already to kind of, speak to them, hear the drums and all this good thing they're saying about them. But I had a very bad negative aura, well, both times, not just once. Apart from that, I just want to hear what's going to be said tonight. And then after tonight, maybe I'll have a different view on life. But right now, they better give me a little bit more convincing, the Rainbow people.
My name is Richard Bellardi, and I'm the mayor for the Village of Cuba.
And how are you feeling about the Rainbow Gathering coming in?
You know, up until this point, we really haven't had much problems with them, I guess, right now. It's kind of like learning as we go.
What are your biggest concerns that you're on the lookout for?
My primary concern is the health and the safety of the community.
What are you hearing from local citizens about their reaction?
You know what? Everybody's just been kind of just quiet about it. That's the reason I held the meeting, so I can get their comments and concerns and any questions that they might have.
Good evening. Thanks everybody for being here. We really appreciate the town of Cuba for hosting us, and we want this to be a really outstanding, smooth, profitable, healthy, and as comfortable as we can event. I hate to disappoint you, but contrary to news reports, there are not going to be 75,000 people coming through. There are not going to be 40,000 people coming through. The last few years, we've had between 9,000 and 12,000 people, and I think that that's a reasonable estimate. There's no question there have been problems in the past, but we are off to the best foot we have been off, maybe in our 38 years.
My name is Stella Sandoval, and we've seen a lot of people asking for money. Are they allowed to do that?
I guess anyone has the right to ask. You don't have to give it to them. And I'm sorry for that impact. We can't control everybody, but we try to control the people we can the best we can. And like Garrick was saying, we will have some people in town who will help to monitor that.
And looking at your websites and seeing some presentations, I see that you have some fairly elaborate buildings. Are you indeed cutting forestry trees, and how are you dealing with getting those buildings built so that you protect Mother Earth as you talk?
Good question. There are some elaborate structures. Honestly, some of the performance areas build box seats 2 and 3 stories tall. I mean, they're not stories like you'd have them here, but several layers. The rule of thumb is nothing that isn't dead and down already.
If you need the ambulances up in the mountain, that means both ambulances would go up. What's going to be the response time in case we have an emergency?
Generally, we do our own transport, so it's not like we're going to try to use your facilities, because both Garrick and me actually are from New Mexico, and I've been here 30 years, and we're very aware of the impact on the local community and the smallness of it. But generally, we do our own transport.
On the wall on that side are press clips from past years. Mostly what I've posted there, what we've posted, are after the fact press clips, not about the 4th of July and about the events going on, but they're from the middle of July, looking back and saying, you know what, we all got excited, and in the end they cleaned up really beautifully, and they left, and it wasn't nearly as frightening or as difficult as we thought.
My name is Gary Stubbs. I came here to help alleviate any fears that the local population might have about this onslaught of the Rainbow Gathering that's coming.
What do you want people to know who've never been to the gathering about how it promotes peace?
I think it promotes peace by demonstrating peaceful cooperation. People of a diverse background, Christians of various denominations, Krishnas, Buddhists, Hindus, Islamics, Sikhs, Sunnis, pagans, people of their own particular religious bent, all come to the gathering from all over the world to work together cooperatively with no one in charge to build a city dedicated to peace. And I think by demonstrating peace, we show the world that it is possible. It isn't a pipe dream. We can live together in peace because for a few weeks in New Mexico in 2009, we're going to show you it can be done.
What have you learned personally about how to apply from the gathering to your own life and peacemaking in your life?
Being more patient with people. I've also found that giving a person a sense of accomplishment, showing them that what they've done now isn't just something they get a paycheck for, but when they perform a service in the family, they can see the good work. They can see the benefit. A person who digs an outhouse understands that he's keeping the community safe by controlling our waste. Somebody who goes out and cuts firewood gets to eat the food that was cooked on that firewood, gets the joy of watching others eat the food that was cooked on that firewood. And it builds that sense of community that we don't find in the 21st century in our cities.
So a little bit there from a public meeting in Cuba before the Rainbow Gathering. Now, not long after that meeting, I turned the local TV news on and heard some tease for a story coming up like, they're gathering for peace, but they're getting tickets on KOB TV.
A small group of Rainbow people outside the courthouse, dozens more inside, facing the magistrate judge. Forest rangers issuing 120 violation notices this weekend.
So law enforcement authorities issuing these tickets, has this been typical of recent gatherings?
It wasn't in the early years, but it's been escalating in recent years, according to a lot of Rainbow family members I talked with. The Forest Service says they're enforcing laws and they're trying to make it a more peaceful event that's better for the environment. And I talked with a member of the Forest Service that you'll hear later. I also asked Mike Nyman about it.
People driving to a Rainbow Gathering, for instance, driving through maybe 40 miles of dirt roads, would wind up getting stopped because of dirt on their license plates or on their windshields. And then the stop allows the police to then, use drug-sniffing dogs. So you wind up, searching thousands of people for drugs, and there are some busts, as there would be if you stopped every car on the New York State Thruway and sniffed it with a drug-sniffing dog. Police have right now regularly go through these gatherings, which are essentially religious events, right? You're gathering ultimately to pray for world peace. Go through with what Rainbow's now called the train, 4, 5, 6 ATVs with federal law enforcement officers, fully armed, fully dressed in what appears to be almost like riot gear, standing on these things, riding through gatherings, and then picking out almost at random different tents, converging on them for what I believe to be are illegal searches. And this, is just harassment because I camp in national forests and I don't really have to expose myself to any of these things if I'm not going to camp with the Rainbows.
Well, how is the family responding to this increased involvement by the Forest Service?
The Rainbows, you take it nonviolently. There's a quote from a Rainbow early. Rainbows like to refer to people who have been with the family for a long time as earlies as opposed to elders, because elder denotes some kind of hierarchy. So Rainbow early, Garrick Beck, talks, for instance, about the 1987 Rainbow Gathering in North Carolina, which really was a turning point. That's where the Forest Service became extremely, extremely nasty in coordination with local police and harassed Rainbows. And Garrick, one piece that he had written, gives you a list of like 15 different horrible provocations that the Forest Service had engaged in, and then responds with how the Rainbows didn't react. When they impounded our water line, we didn't turn around and throw rocks, stuff like that. I think that the Forest Service helps make the Rainbows more nonviolent. by confronting them with provocation for violence.
How long do you think they'll be able to stay nonviolent?
Well, let me go back to last year in Wyoming. A very strange thing happened. For whatever reason, Forest Service agents with splat-ball guns shooting pepper grenades or some kind of irritant white powder in little grenades went in and then shot up a daycare center. And all I could say is, if you really, really, really want people to riot, mess with their kids. If that didn't cause rainbows to react violently, I can't really conceive of what would.
But they didn't? They stayed calm?
They stayed calm, and it's really interesting because I was there with the film crew, and the film crew was nowhere near this event. Ultimately, for making the film, we wound up with ample footage, because even though you're in the middle of the wilderness with a bunch of people you might want to term as Luddites, when this went down, suddenly all these cell phones came out and little video, little digital cameras shooting video, basically video being shot by the people who are under attack. I say the closest you got to a violent response is there was verbal, if you want to call that violence, I don't know. But people were yelling back. Some people got angry and shouted obscenities, which is not nonviolence. It exasperates the situation and causes the police to feel they're under attack more. But no, in fact, you had Rainbow Shantasina, peacekeepers, and they created a line between the police and the crowd of people who were yelling at the police, "What are you doing here? Stop shooting, stop," And they had their backs to the police, had their fronts to the crowd, calming people down, and they were all shot in the back.
He shot at me when I was blocking hippies from attacking him.
We got witnesses, right?
So what you're hearing is audio from one of these amateur videos taken during this Wyoming incident, taken off of YouTube. To watch the whole video, it's pretty chaotic. We have a link to it on our website, peacetalksradio.com. You do see what looked like gathering peacekeepers moving toward the armed Forest Service people, oming and trying to make peace, trying to get in between them and agitated rainbows. Some wind up in handcuffs. It doesn't seem like many details are available as to what precipitated it.
That's right. It's reported that it started with the Forest Service going into this particular area to make an arrest for some reason. A spokeswoman for the Forest Service was quoted in an AP story saying that about 400 rainbow people began to advance, and some were throwing sticks or rocks at the officers. It certainly is an example of this kind of uneasy energy between the Forest Service and the rainbows. I could feel it at the meeting, and I could feel it throughout the gathering.
So we'll hear Suzanne's radio diary at the gathering right after this break. You're listening to Peace Talks Radio. You're listening to Peace Talks Radio, the series on peacemaking and nonviolent conflict resolution. I'm series producer Paul Ingalls with Suzanne Kreider, who's leading us through her journey into the 2009 Rainbow Gathering. Rainbow gatherings have been held since 1972 on public lands across the U.S., temporary intentional communities meant to promote peace, harmony, and freedom.
July 3rd, I drove up to Cuba. It's about an hour and a half northwest of Albuquerque. I stopped in the town because I wanted to hear what some of the local residents had to say about the gathering, but almost nobody would talk to me. So I decided to head up to the site. But first, I thought it might be worth stopping at the Cuba Ranger Station, and I lucked out because I got to talk with Denise Ottaviano, an information officer with the Forest Service, who was really pretty upbeat.
I think this year in particular, it's gone really well. We had a lot of planning that was done ahead of time with people that were planning on going to the gathering, and we were able to work out a lot of differences, a lot of concerns, and on the ground, things have been going really well. We've been monitoring the kitchens and camps for proper sanitation and resource impacts, and whenever there's been concerns, we've been able to work it out just by talking to each other and not writing as many violation notices. So it's been going really well.
Our show is about making peace, and I'm curious what kind of strategies are important from your side that are helping you communicate clearly with the family.
I think talking a lot beforehand really worked to our benefit and to the benefit of the people going to the Rainbow Gathering. We talked about things that we just couldn't bend our rules for. We made some clear responsibilities and roles, what we would be responsible for, what the Rainbows would be responsible for, and we're holding each other to those responsibilities. And I think that we've been able to get assistance from the Rainbows in working out a lot of those differences and a lot of those concerns. Like when we've had people that have refused to move their tent or get out of a riparian area, we've been able to go to them and said, okay, according to what we agreed upon, you said you would not do this. So they've gone to their own people and said, you do need to move. You need to do what the Forest Service is saying. So just a lot of cooperation, a lot of communication has really helped.
I have just been in town about 10 minutes, but I have noticed a lot of state police cars. And I've also tried to interview local people here in Cuba, and they've been reticent to talk with me. Do you have a sense of how it's affecting the local community?
There's mixed emotions. Some of the restaurants and businesses here have been making a lot of money, and they're real happy the Rainbows are here. Other businesses like the convenience stores have been having some problems with them. Stealing paper products out of the bathrooms, eating out of the trash, panhandling, loitering, that type of thing. And so they've actually had to call the local police department on them for several occasions. So it's definitely mixed.
Mm-hmm. It sounds to me like the permit is very important, but the permit doesn't solve all the problems. It just helps. Would it be accurate to say that the permit helps the Forest Service feel more engaged, like they want to work with rather than against the Rainbows?
We always want to work with the Rainbows.
Even when they don't sign a permit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, what's important to us is helping them have a gathering that is legal, safe, and has the minimal impact on the land. That's our goal regardless. But signing the permit makes it a lot easier for us to interact and manage the gathering. And it's just simply signing a permit, and it's free.
Okay. Could you give me some directions on how to get up there?
Highway 126 to Forest Road 103.
So here I am on, wow, this must be, oh my gosh, I'm pulling into the base camp, it looks like. It's been about, there it is, the welcome home sign. People with guitars, people with no shirts, people with tie-dye t-shirts, people waving, people with hats, people on crutches, people with beat-up cars, people with fancy cars, people with backpacks. Somebody's slowing me down here. Hello, sir.
Where you going, lady?
Pardon me? Yeah, I was.
Oh, that's not a microphone, is it?
Yes, I'm with the media.
Oh, you're talking? No.
No? Turn it off?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, wow. I wonder.
I need Jimmy!
Yeah, I think I have found a camp. Because those people were definitely inebriated. Everybody's so sweet, though. I just want to hug them and kiss them. License tags from all over. Wisconsin, Colorado, Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Texas. These are just all in a row. Hey! Hey! Oh, that's so sweet. He got so excited to see me. Love you! I got parked, set up my tent, and started meeting people. Your name?
Terriani Riggs.
So, Terriani, how many gatherings have you been to?
I've been to, this is my 16th national and my 18th year of gathering.
What brings you back?
Well, if you can imagine 20,000 people coming to the same place with the intention to treat each other as family, not just the lip speak, and not necessarily succeeding in this, but with every single person having an intention to treat each other as family, that's an entirely different environment than I think any of us have experienced anywhere else. And I think you've experienced a little bit of that yourself here. There's miracles daily because the intention is that every stranger is a family member, that this is actually home. And that's something when you get 20,000 people doing that as their prayer, as their meditation, whether they succeed or not, whether they're the abused drug user kid who ran away from home, or whether it's the engineer who works for NASA, which we have everything here. If they all come together to believe this, then you have some of the most amazing magic you could have in the world right here. And that's why I come back every year.
And you?
I would be Jade Spratt, the doggy mommy, I suppose.
Excellent.
Everyone
Great.
here has, sort of monikers, I suppose,
Right.
And I think that they evolve. From what I understand, sort of like in Native American tribalism, where you're given a name at birth and then you mature and the tribe gives you a new name and so on and so forth. I see people's monikers evolving as they do things that are noteworthy and such, They get new names. There was a young man who I don't know his name, but him and I helped to put up the panels of the Sweat Lodge teepee in the main meadow. But he was so agile in climbing the poles barefoot and manipulating the ropes with his toes that he probably will forever be known as Monkey Boy. And that's what we call him, Monkey Boy.
They need to be end the war.
Here's a woman in black boots. She's holding probably a 1-gallon sterling silver bucket. She has a soup ladle. People are holding out their cups and bowls. She's ladling soup into it. Looks like a pretty thin broth with some vegetables. People are waiting patiently for her to come around. Looks like greens and maybe some potatoes in there. Hello, what's your name?
It's Rory Ridley from Austin, Texas. The underlying energy here, I believe, is service to one another. The food that comes from the kitchens is prepared by people who love the people that they're serving. The food that's brought to the kitchens is brought with the expectation that it's going to be shared with everyone that comes. So everything that happens in the woods is volunteer, it's service-oriented. People gather wood for the fires, people bring water, people pick up the trash, and it's all done out of love, of that spirit of love.
It's sprinkling now, and the sky is looking like it's really gonna rain.
My name's Casey Diaz. I'm a rainbow.
What's the essential core that you really believe in for the gathering?
As far as here, I mean, leaving the land how we found it, there will be people here a month after everybody's gone cleaning this up, picking out the little pieces of toilet paper, tearing everything down, just walking around picking up trash. And, sorry, since we promote living with the land, we try to lead by example in that way. And if we can't do that, then everything after that doesn't mean anything. If we can't hold our most basic idea to live with the land peacefully and leave it as we were, then all the details after that, mean nothing.
Describe the tattoo on your back. It says HIV positive. I couldn't read it because I'm sitting next to you, so I just wanted you to describe it.
Oh, yeah.
It's about how big?
It goes all the way across my back. I try to bring my message about that here. I wear a sign on my front usually that states the same thing. I'm not trying to scare people. I just want them to think about it and be more aware. It's just about making smarter decisions so you don't end up in my situation. I don't want to see my friends and family go through potentially what I will. And there are a lot of people out here who maybe don't consider the possibility. I'm the only person here with this tattoo, but I'm not the only person here with HIV. You know, I've had a number of people come up to me and tell me they also have HIV, you know, because I'm open about it, you know, and I just want them to be more comfortable. You know, I fight against the stigma of what it is. You know, people think if you get HIV, your life is over, and people give up. And I try to show them that that's not true. I still have a life. I'm far from, you know, over. You know, my main message is HIV, but the cores of what I believe in spread throughout every life. You know.
Here comes the soup kettle.
Yeah. Would you like some salad?
Absolutely.
Would you like some salad?
Thanks.
Yes, I'm Maya Todorita.
Oh my gosh. Where are you from, Maya?
I'm from Tucson.
How many gatherings have you been to?
I think, including this one, 2.
What do you like about them best?
It's gathering.
How old are you?
I'm 8.
What's most fun about the gathering?
It has a lot of activities and so many people share peace.
Our show is about peace. How do you experience peace when you're at the gathering? What does it feel like in your body?
Feels like a warm hot chocolate.
We're listening to Suzanne Kreider's audio diary from the Rainbow Gathering in 2009. Suzanne's in the studios with me. I'm Paul Ingalls, producer for Peace Talks Radio. So, Suzanne, July 4th is the penultimate moment for each gathering. What went down for you in 2009?
Here's what normally happens. On the 4th of July, people wake up in silence. They remain in silence. They gather at the main meadow in a giant circle. If you can imagine thousands of people, 3, 5, 7,000 people in a giant circle in silence praying for peace. People wander in as they get up. I had been told that I had plenty of time, that I didn't need to rush down there because on Rainbow Time, things usually happen an hour or two late. Ideally, what happens is at noon, the silence ends with an Om by 5,000 or 7,000 people. That lasts for about 10 or 15 minutes. That ends in a cheer that signals the beginning of the Kitty Parade, which is this huge celebration. I decided, because so many people had told me not to rush, and because it was raining so hard, that I had time to get down there. But I missed it. It's kind of like sending a reporter to report on the takeoff of the shuttle, but they're still in the parking lot.
This is a reporter's nightmare, actually.
I was so embarrassed. I was talking to a guy under a tarp in Kitty Village. It was raining really hard. He wanted to investigate my microphone. I offered to let him listen to the microphone because he said he wanted to buy one just like it.
You turn it down a little bit. That's good. That's amazing. Check 1, 2. Oh, turn it up a little bit.
Then all of a sudden I realized it was about 3 minutes till 12. I started running down through Kitty Village. All of a sudden, I hear this giant cheer.
It sounds like cheering.
I had missed the whole thing.
It looks like the parade has started already. There are children everywhere. Balloon hats. Dogs. Tie-dye blankets. Almost like Halloween costumes, clowns, spooks, lots of painted faces, butterfly wings. So the Kitty Parade is coming through a break in the circle. The kids are getting a really big round of applause. There are very few umbrellas out here, guys. It's mostly just people getting wet. A lot of folks have hats on. Some have rain jackets, blankets, but most people are just smiling with really wet heads. I'd say it's a pretty steady downpour. Not too many people seem upset about it. Not a lot of cringing or, I wish it wasn't raining. Oh gosh, I just feel so happy. All the jubilation for children. How often do we see that? Just honoring children for being alive. What's your full name?
Joshua David Marks,
Where do you live, Joshua?
Oregon.
How many gatherings have you been to?
I don't know how many are there? 5.
That's awesome. Why do you keep coming back?
Is it fun?
What's the most fun about it?
The parade.
What do you like about the parade?
There's a lot of people and they're all happy.
What's the best memory you have of any of the parades you've been in?
Last year at Wyoming, 4th of July, our family had a lot of fun when we fire danced.
You fire danced. Tell the listeners what that looked like.
There's a stick with 2 balls of fire on the end and you dance with it.
It sounds a little dangerous.
No, it's fun.
So my show is about peace. What do you learn about peace from the Rainbow Gatherings?
That you don't need to judge and everybody can be family.
Anything else you want to tell our listeners? Because sometimes people think that the Rainbow Gathering is kind of strange, or anything you want to tell our listeners about what really happens here and why it's important?
No, it's just really fun and there's a lot of people and then everybody loves each other and we're all family.
Thanks very much. What an awesome mother you are. Thank you so much. See, this is like why I'm so hopeful about the future. Wow, that was like a really unusually loving child. Okay. The sun is out and the rain is on its way. It's just huge gray clouds just standing around waiting for the next scene. And what's your full name?
Adam Garrett Clark.
Adam, where are you from?
From the Bay Area, California, but right now I live in New York.
You're an African American man, and I know you don't speak for all African Americans, but talk about the racial ratios here, because there aren't very many people of color here.
Right, that's true. Here it does feel a little strange to be, not only am I not wearing dreadlocks and all that, but I'm also a different color than everybody. So it is something to get over.
How do you do that? How do you get over it? Or do you really get over it?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like all through my life, I'm always, a minority. In my workplace, I'm the only black guy there. A lot of it is my own perception that I feel outside, and maybe it's not that people actually feel that, that I'm not like them or something. But that's also part of the Rainbow philosophy, is that we're all of different creeds and shapes and sizes and colors, and we all come together.
My given name at birth was Luke Goldstein.
Awesome.
Other known as Alokananda.
Alokananda. Our show is about peacemaking. What are you most looking forward to at this gathering as it relates to peace?
I have a lot of peace within. That's what I strive to cultivate, and I'm just looking to share that with other people and find other people that are holding that vibration of peace within themselves. I think there's a powerful change happening on our planet, and that a lot of people that have chosen to come here are aware of the more profound, subtle, spiritual changes that are happening in human consciousness right now, and that is very much about peace. And I think some people here are a little more on an escapism trip, and others are really aware of what needs to change. So I'd like to stimulate some insight or thoughts for people that are kind of stuck in a rebellious culture that isn't necessarily looking to heal themselves or nurture themselves. I'm just here to spread my light.
It's a fascinating comment, because you called it escapism. Mm-hmm. What makes you uncomfortable about that portion of society?
I'll call it escapism on some level, because there's an element of that, but there's also a tremendous courage that it takes to leave the known and that I think a lot of these younger traveling, hitchhiking seekers, they know something's fundamentally wrong with the structures that we come from, but their approach is missing an element of inner responsibility. What I mean, emotional awareness, health-oriented practices. I think we're all ultimately looking for a consistency of fulfillment, and so there's something to be said about leaving the known, but balancing that also with responsibility, I think, is the key. That's the middle path that I'm trying to connect with other people that have jobs, but also, are aware that there's this change happening.
My name's Lee, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
What is your major motivation for coming to the gatherings?
I'm a people watcher. I go to the motorcycle rally in Sturgis, South Dakota for the same reason. It's a kaleidoscope of humanity. You can sit in one spot and never get bored because it's just a constant changing of what you're feeling and sensing in all the senses that you have. That's what it is here. Myself, I don't broadcast this, but I do not come here to pray for peace. I would feel that I'd be spinning my wheels. I'm not here to wish for peace. I feel that that's just, if I've got X amount of energy to wish for, to wish with, it's not going to be for peace, because I think I'd be emptying my wish bucket on something that isn't going to happen. So I wish for something that I consider realistic. I have a friend that's terminally ill. I wish her well. I really wish that. I wish for things like that, stuff that's somewhat realistic to me.
My name is Jennifer Simpson.
Our show is about making peace. What do you expect to learn or take away about peacemaking from the gathering?
Wow, that's a really good question. Well, one thing I've already kind of taken away is that peace really is a choice. I mean, it's a choice we make every single day in every interaction. When I was up here earlier, about 10 days ago, and I know there was like a domestic disturbance, for lack of a better, and the way they dealt with it here was, instead of like hauling off somebody and arresting them and throwing them in jail, they surrounded them and owned and talked them down, basically, rather than being confrontational. It's more of like how can we heal this problem? And I don't know if that's always going to work. It would be nice to think it would. And I also really enjoyed hearing Garrick Beck speak at the town meeting when he said that we come up here and pray for peace, and then he kind of jokingly said it hasn't worked yet, but we're hopeful. and I think that's the other thing to take away from this about peace. Okay, probably on the 5th of July, the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan will not be over. I'm not naive, but it can't hurt. And to have 10,000 people come together and to try and manifest that kind of intention, I think it's pretty powerful. I mean, one small step can change the world, right?
It's gotten kind of chilly, and I'm a bit wet. I'm going to head back up the hill and head out. Maybe I'll meet some people on the path. I'm sure I will. Everybody's got a story here. Maggie Seeley! Yes, I am. Would you two like to be interviewed?
Yes, we would.
Come under my umbrella, dolls.
I am Maggie Seeley, a citizen of the world and a resident of Albuquerque.
I am Laura Eoberg, and I am a citizen of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm a friend of the gathering.
What would you say to people who think that, it's just a bunch of freaks out here and they're not really proving anything?
I'd say come take a look. Come on down here. Everyone should come once in their life, whether you choose to, co-create or be part of it, but you should come and see what is created down here. It's phenomenal. It's a lot of love and sweat, from many, many people coming together, and they're not making money at it, they're doing it to create a space of connection, harmony, and peace.
I just think it's fabulous that we met a truck driver from Utah. I'm, in the scale of, social and economic and vocational realms, I'm sort of far away from a truck driver from Utah, but there we were, catching shelter under the same tarp, and I'm thinking, well, I'm reminded that part of the world needs to flatten around just hierarchy. So that's what I take away. It doesn't matter how much education and money I have. We need to create enough for all.
How do we flatten the hierarchy back home in Babylon?
Well, I think a lot of flattening the hierarchy is about getting out in your neighborhood and getting out with people that you share common needs with, and the needs that you have, that are aside from money, which is like your vegetables and your water and ways to create beauty and entertain one another and keep your hope up. So hoping to get out more in my neighborhood, hoping to get out, in other neighborhoods and just kind of meet with people around those really basic things and, the basic needs, the common needs that we share, which I believe includes peace.
So, wow, quite a journey, Suzanne, at the 2009 Rainbow Gathering. How did you feel coming out of the whole thing?
This experience truly changed me. I think people change in terms of their thinking and also in terms of their behavior. The way I think about people who are part of the hippie movement has changed, and the way I interact with people has completely changed. 2 weeks ago, I was coming out of the grocery store. I saw two young men sitting on the ground up against the wall. A matter of months ago, I never would have spoken to them or made eye contact with them, but I recognized them as members of the family. I stopped and said hello. They said that their RV was broken down, that they'd been camping up in the woods for several weeks. I asked them if they were part of the gathering. They reluctantly said yes. When I told them I was up there too, it was an instant bond. I ended up talking to him for 20 minutes. I gave him some money. I gave him some food. Those are behaviors that I never would have done before. They called me sister. We shared our names. I understand now. I'm not saying that the gathering is a panacea. I'm not saying that there aren't problems with it. But I have to just say that they are people who are trying to make peace. They're trying to learn, how do people live together? How do people treat the earth in a peaceful way? And I have to give them a lot of credit for trying. And I have to say that if anything ever happens in the infrastructure of the United States and we're left without a lot of modern conveniences, I want to find some family members, because those are the people who know how to live independently on the land as people did for thousands and thousands of years.
Suzanne Kreider, thank you for taking us on your trip to the gathering.
It was a delight.
Suzanne recorded many hours of material at the 2009 gathering. A lot of great interviews we obviously didn't have time to hear today, but to get that more complete experience, you can visit our website, peacetalksradio.com, and look for the extra links on our page for this episode. Also on our website, you can hear all the programs in our series dating back to 2003, sign up for a free podcast and email newsletter, send us your comments and show ideas, and learn how you can help support this program with a tax-deductible contribution to our nonprofit organization. It's all happening at peacetalksradio.com. We also have support from the Oppenheimer Brothers Foundation, the McCune Charitable Foundation, the Peace Tales CD Project, and KUNM at the University of New Mexico. Our theme music was written and is performed by Allie Adelman. For Suzanne Kreider, I'm Paul Ingalls. Thanks for listening to and for doing your part to support Peace Talks Radio. So let's hear about your trip to the gathering. What else did you do to prepare?
Mike's book was very helpful, but one thing that was a little scary is he said a lot of time there are bears at gatherings because a lot of the campsites are very remote. And I took that to heart. So you'll hear about that in a few minutes, but I went to a sporting goods store and got some bear mace.
They make bear mace.
Yeah, they do. It's specifically for bears.
Right.
I also wanted to prepare in terms of blending in to hippie culture. And because I'd never really been involved in hippie culture, I talked with a girlfriend, Betsy, who had been involved, I learned a lot about how the clothing reflects the history of the movement.
I looked through all my clothes, and that was the only hippie top I could come up with. What do you think?
It's a good hippie top. It is. And the reason it's good is because it looks very ethnic and peasant-like, and part of the hippie thing was hearkening back to sort of a simpler agrarian time where people had a very strong sense of culture and made their own clothes. Things that feel like they would be from an earlier village time are good.
It's kind of a turquoise color. It's a bright color, and then it's got red and white, kind of zigzaggy smocking.
Yeah, and it's mostly cotton.
It's mostly cotton, a little spandex.
Well, the spandex is a modern extra, but that's okay. But it looks like cotton. Yeah, and the color, because hippie clothing was often very colorful, and that was meant to be in contrast to drab modern society where everyone is sort of colorless and looks alike and goes to work and lives life without much of a sense of joy. So color is good. So yes, actually this little turquoise smocked blouse would be a good choice.
I did good. So maybe we could find something to go with that.
Yeah, we could look for a skirt that would go with that.
Okay. Now, what do you think of this little sundress? Hippie or not hippie?
It could be, because that's the other thing, is that the hippie, part of being a hippie was also enjoying having a body. It was going back to sort of being more sensual and so it's small, so it shows off. It's got little straps and it's a little short dress, which would be good for summer, as long as it was pretty warm. And it's bright colors with flowers on it, and it's just a simple style. So actually that would work as well.
Oh, good. I'm excited. What do you think of these beads? Because hippies wear beads.
The beads are great.
They are?
Oh, they're great.
What do you like? What do you like about them?
That they are, instead of it being a really sort of sophisticated necklace with expensive gems that would have been cut and done by a jeweler, this is something that could have been put together by some lady in a village, just stringing whatever beads that they had. So colorful, but simple, not overly fancy or expensive. So yes, that's a very good choice, and it actually goes very nicely with that dress.
Yeah, and I was thinking these are little hearts. They're not heart-shaped, but I got these in India. It's a strand of sort of purple stones, and then there's another strand of pink stones.
It's good to bring up India, because the hippie movement, people spent a lot of time in India because they were very into Hinduism and Eastern religions. And so the way of living sort of simply and spiritually and mystically out on the street was very much something they brought back from India. So anything Indian is good.
There could be swimming, so I'm thinking of taking a little bikini bathing suit. Yes or no?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, in the real hippie days, you would have gone swimming naked. I don't think you're probably going to be doing that.
Is that a challenge?
I'm not making it one.
Double dog dare you?
I'm just commenting on the fact that I remember a lot of naked swimming because we thought bathing suits were stupid.
I don't know if you can smell it, but I have a little of this on. It's an essential oil. It's called Flirtation.
And it's got patchouli in it. That was the hippie fragrance for women. Yeah, no, I don't know why patchouli was so popular, but everyone I knew wore it all the time. So that's good.
Okay. So there's one more stop I have before I head up to the Rainbow Gathering. I'm in a recreational equipment store because I'd like to get some of that pepper spray or mace. When I read Mike Nyman's book, he said that bears are a frequent occurrence at the Rainbow Gathering. And I thought, well, it might be good to have some of this. So I'm going to see if I can find somebody here in the store to help me.
My name's Steele LaVale. I have worked here for 12 years, and I'm a product and service expert.
I read this book about the Rainbow Gathering. He said that bear sightings are kind of frequent. Do you think I'll run into any bears?
I doubt it.
Rats. Well, I
still think I want to get some pepper spray just in case. Is there anything else I could use it on besides bears? I mean, can you use it on... What else would be up there that I might be able to use it on?
Possibly mountain lion, but it's specifically made for bear. You're not going to want to use it on people or anything like that because it's just so powerful. So just be ready with it for a bear, but like I said, I doubt if you're going to even see a bear. With that many people up there, the bear will be scared away.
So where is it?
Let's go find it.
Okay.
We actually have to keep it behind the counter because in one of the stores, a customer sprayed some and the whole store had to be evacuated. It's that strong.
Oh my gosh.
So it's called Counter Assault. It's Grizzly Tough Pepper Spray. I guess the main ingredient is capsaicin.
Capsaicin, I think, is chili pepper or something, isn't it?
I believe it is. Yes, it is. May cause irreversible eye damage if sprayed in the eye at close range.
Now that's a pretty big can right there. How do I carry that around?
We sell an accessory holster. You can put it in a holster and carry it with you.
Oh my gosh, where are those?
Let me go find those. Hang on a minute.
This actually looks kind of dangerous. It's got like a pin that you pull, maybe sort of looks like a hand grenade on the top. Oh, this is good news. Glow-in-the-dark safety wedge. Well, that's excellent. So I don't accidentally pull it when I'm rummaging for my microphone or something. This product has a range of up to 30 feet. The canister empties in approximately 7.2 seconds. Oh my God, we're talking about one bear application. Hopefully I won't run into two bears. I wonder how much it costs.
$44.95.
Oh my gosh! And how much is this holster?
$12.95.
Wow, maybe I'll just put it in my pocket. All right, Steele, thanks so much for your help. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
That's it. I got my bear spray. I'm ready to go.
So we'll hear Suzanne's radio diary at the gathering right after this break. You're listening to Peace Talks Radio. You're listening to Peace Talks Radio, the series on peacemaking and nonviolent conflict resolution. I'm series producer Paul Ingalls with Suzanne Kreider, who's leading us through her journey into the 2009 Rainbow Gathering. Rainbow Gatherings have been held since 1972 on public lands across the U.S., temporary intentional communities meant to promote peace, harmony, and freedom.
It's Friday morning, July 3rd. I was going to get up early and get on the road, and when I woke up it was raining. It doesn't rain. This is the desert. I fell back asleep, but luckily the phone rang. It was my producer and best friend, Paul, offering to let me take his four-wheel drive, RAV4. Whew, what a gift. I've got a 1999 Ford Escort, and I was kind of worried about not only the rain and the mud and the washboard effect on these Forest Service roads, but also I heard that it was a pretty steep incline getting up to the site, so this is fantastic. As I'm getting ready to go, I'm feeling a mixture of things. Excitement, a little dread, and some fear. Kind of like a combination of Christmas morning and a trip to the dentist. I've been getting these email updates from the Rainbow Press crew. I got another one on Wednesday. It was titled, Third Barrage of Rainbow Gathering Tickets to be Heard Wednesday. It looks like there's another 76 family members who are expected to appear in New Mexico Federal Magistrate Court in Albuquerque for mandatory hearings on tickets issued by the Forest Service. What's happening is the incident command team is giving out these tickets and requiring that people come back to Albuquerque, which is a hassle. I think it's about 200 miles round trip. It's unusual because usually when you get a ticket like that, you can mail in your payment. What I'm really curious about is it says now that people are feeling so hassled by the Forest Service Incident Command Team that the U.S. Marshals have come in. The press release reads, now that U.S. Marshals have been accompanying the Incident Command Team on their patrols throughout the gathering, the harassment has decreased and mostly consists of their continued presence and their daily checkpoints at locations on the way in and out of the gathering. I don't know what y'all think about this, but to me it doesn't seem like a good use of taxpayer dollars to be paying the law, to be watching the law, hand out tickets to muddy people who are trying to keep their license plates clean. I'm really interested in this. I really want to talk to a U.S. Marshal and another one of the Incident Command Team about how this is all working out, because I sure hope they don't need to bring in some more law enforcement officials to watch the Marshals watch the command team. Okay, I'm going to jump in the shower. It's probably the last time I'm going to get one for a couple days. And then I'm going to pack up and head out. Here I am just arriving in Cuba. You know, it doesn't really look that busy. I'm surprised. Probably not too much more than regular 4th of July traffic coming in for the weekend. I think what I'd like to do is stop in one of the local establishments and see how things are going. See if they're getting a lot of rainbow people coming in. Cuba's on New Mexico Highway 550, which is a beautiful, used to be 2-lane, now it's a 4-lane highway that goes from Bernalillo right off of I-25, which is the north-south corridor in New Mexico, and straight up to the northwest. The sky has been clearing up on my drive. It took me about an hour to get here from Albuquerque. Huge, beautiful, puffy cloud configurations are moving to expose bright blue sky. But off in the distance, over the mountains, it's still quite gray. And that's where I'm headed. I'm standing outside the Food Mart at the local Phillips 66 gas station. We're going to go in and see how things have been going for these folks. Restrooms for customers only. Wow. I think I'll pick up some snacks before I head up. Hey, how about a grandma's oatmeal raisin and some whole cashews? Is it my turn? Oh. Hey, I'm from the University of New Mexico, their radio station in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
My name's Suzanne. I'm wondering if I could just interview you real quick for the radio program I'm doing on the gathering.
Okay.
Is that okay for broadcast? I just need for you to... Yeah, it'll be really fast. I just need for you to say your full name.
Okay. Danny Herrera.
Okay, great. So, Danny, I don't want to interrupt. How much do I owe you?
$2.99.
Okay. So I'm just curious, how's it been going with people coming up for the gathering?
It's been going good.
It's okay?
Yeah.
So is business up?
A little bit.
Yeah, not that much. You guys had any problems?
No problems at all.
Huh. How do you feel about these folks coming into your community?
I like the folks, I just don't like all the law enforcement.
I've already stopped at a couple other places and asked for some people to interview, but not very many people have been willing to talk to me. I think people are feeling uncomfortable about talking about the gathering. I'm wondering if there's more going on. I've been in town just a few minutes and seen several state police cars, and it feels a bit tense. I think I'm going to get on the road and head up the mountain. I've been striking out with the
local people in Cuba, so I thought I'd stop here at the Santa Fe National Forest Ranger Station. This is the Cuba Ranger Station. I'm going to go inside and see if anybody will talk to me here.
Yes, Denise Ottaviano. I'm an information officer with the Forest Service.
Denise, how have you felt about how the gathering is getting organized and how the interaction with the Forest Service is going?
I think this year in particular, it's gone really well. We had a lot of planning that was done ahead of time with people that were planning on going to the gathering, and we were able to work out a lot of differences, a lot of concerns, and on the ground, things have been going really well. We've been monitoring the kitchens and camps for proper sanitation and resource impacts, and whenever there's been concerns, we've been able to work it out just by talking to each other and not writing as many violation notices. So it's been going really well.
What kind of concerns have you had that you had to work out?
Sanitation and cleanliness in kitchens, placement of camps and kitchens, making sure people aren't disturbing wildlife habitat or archaeological sites, or if they might be causing damage to riparian areas, things like that.
Our show is about making peace, and I'm curious what kind of strategies are important from your side that are helping you communicate clearly with the family.
I think talking a lot beforehand really worked to our benefit and to the benefit of the people going to the Rainbow Gathering. We worked out a lot of concerns ahead of time. We talked about things that we just couldn't bend our rules for. We made some clear responsibilities and roles, what we would be responsible for, what the Rainbows would be responsible for, and we're holding each other to those responsibilities. And I think that we've been able to get assistance from the Rainbows in working out a lot of those differences and a lot of those concerns. Like when we've had people that have refused to move their tent or get out of a riparian area, we've been able to go to them and said, okay, according to what we agreed upon, you said you would not do this. So they've gone to their own people and said, you do need to move. You need to do what the Forest Service is saying. So just a lot of cooperation, a lot of communication has really helped.
How early were people from the family here working with you?
As early as last fall, because after last year's gathering, they did identify New Mexico as the state where they would be going, and people were coming in to talk with us as early as last fall. So we've had a lot of contact with certain individuals, and the permit was signed, and I have to say that that really helps because things have gone so smoothly since the permit was signed compared to other years when they refused to sign a permit. And they've said themselves, you know, this year is really different. Things are going so well this year, and the cooperation is a lot better, and I think it has a lot to do with the permit.
What does the permit mean to the Forest Service?
Any group of 75 or more that wants to recreate on the National Forest has to get a free special use permit. It's called a non-commercial group use permit. We require anyone, church groups, people who want to have big weddings, anyone who wants to use the forest non-commercially, they have to get a permit. And what it does is it places restrictions on time, place, and manner, meaning we have to set a restriction on how long you're going to be there, where you're going to be, and the manner in which you're going to impact the land. And that's really the purpose of it, and that's why we try to work with them on making sure they're not going to disturb an archaeological site or ruin a wildlife habitat area, things like that. But the purpose for them being there, we do not infringe upon that at all. They have the right to be there for any reason, religious purposes, political reasons, and we don't infringe upon those rights at all. We just have to work with them on getting them to sign a permit so that we can legally have them there, and also work on trying to be there that'll have a less impact on the land.
In your mind, if they hadn't signed the permit, how would that have changed how you interact with them?
If they hadn't signed a permit, it would have been an illegal gathering. We'd have to manage it that way, with them being there illegally. And there is a law enforcement presence that is there every year to making sure that they're there legally and abiding by all federal and state laws. So it is quite a bit different, and I think this year things went much more smoothly.
There have been news reports that there have been over 200 citations, some of them for offenses like a dirty license tag, but some of them have been serious offenses. Talk about what those have been.
You know, there was probably one ticket written maybe for that. I can't even confirm it. Those minor things have been the few citations we've written. The most citations we've written have been for drug offenses and for alcohol offenses. And we've also had over 6 felony arrests for assaulting police officers, drug charges. So there's a lot of drugs that people bring to a gathering like this. And we've gotten everything from marijuana to heroin. And that's a concern to us, is the drug use. And the drugs are sometimes being used by people who had violent histories or commit violent crimes. There was a stabbing that occurred a couple of weeks ago. There was a rape. We've heard other reports of fighting. And, you know, we want everyone to have a peaceful gathering. And the people that do cause a lot of the problems are the minority. Most of the people there are very friendly and just peacefully want to gather, but because there's people there that are not so peaceful, we want to protect the other participants from them and from what they bring to a peaceful gathering like this.
I have just been in town about 10 minutes, but I have noticed a lot of state police cars. And I've also tried to interview local people here in Cuba, and they've been reticent to talk with me. Do you have a sense of how it's affecting the local community?
We've been talking with them a lot. We go and visit them every couple days. There's mixed emotions. Some of the restaurants and businesses here have been making a lot of money, and they're real happy the rainbows are here. Other businesses like the convenience stores have been having some problems with them. Stealing paper products out of the bathrooms, eating out of the trash, panhandling, loitering, that type of thing. And so they've actually had to call the local police department on them for several occasions. So it's definitely mixed.
Mm-hmm. It sounds to me like the permit is very important, but the permit doesn't solve all the problems. It just helps. Would it be accurate to say that the permit helps the Forest Service feel more engaged, like they want to work with rather than against the rainbows?
We always want to work with the rainbows.
Even when they don't sign a permit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, what's important to us is helping them have a gathering that is legal, safe, and has the minimal impact on the land. That's our goal regardless. But signing the permit makes it a lot easier for us to interact and manage the gathering. And it's just simply signing a permit, and it's free.
Okay. So just break that down for me, Denise. What makes it easier to interact with them because of the permit?
Again, if they don't sign the permit, it's an illegal gathering, and we have to manage it that way.
Okay, got it. Great. Well, could you give me some directions on how to get up there?
You would take Highway 126 to Forest Road 103.
So here I am on, wow, this must be, oh my gosh, I'm pulling into the base camp, it looks like. It's been about, there it is, the welcome home sign. Oh, folks, there's a Forest Service truck in front of me. I'm not really sure what to do. It looks like this is where the loop ends. So somebody's going back down. Gee, this was not a very difficult drive at all. The road luckily has dried since last night, and it wasn't too poorly washboarded. Beautiful tall evergreen trees. We are at the top. There was about a 13-mile uphill climb there. I was in front of the Forest Service truck for a while, but decided to pull over. I also let a state police pass me. I did see one, it looked like an interaction there with 3 Forest Service cars. Now there's a gentleman coming up with a green hat. It looks like he's going to instruct me where to go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, parking is 300 yards down the way, and we
Okay.
have to shuttle everybody into the gathering from here.
Okay, I'm with the media,
Mhm.
and I believe there was media parking. I have a lot of gear. That's what I was
no,
told.
we barely have parking for the people.
Oh, okay. Well, how far is it going to be to hike in?
We're shuttling people in, and it's
Oh.
7 miles.
Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention because I thought I was media parking. So
Right, no, yeah, we're not that sophisticated.
Well, I met with the press crew. Do you know about that? Because I met with the press crew and they told me that I was going to be able to park close
Okay,
up.
all right, I'll tell you what then. Why don't you drive all the way on through?
Okay.
And if you did talk to somebody, then tell them, hey, we're press. I talked to somebody, they told me to come in.
Okay. Okay, you sure that's okay?
No, but
What's your
it's
name?
the best we got. I'm David.
Okay, David, thank you.
Oh, welcome home.
Okay, thank you. Wow, it feels tense already. All right, Now I feel guilty, but I'd rather be going in. All right, so there's a whole group of people. Looks like they're waiting for a shuttle. I'm gonna go onward. Wow, we've got kids running out into the street here, and this is intense. I'm going to talk to this gentleman. He's got... Hello, good. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Are you looking for a place to park?
Yes, actually, I'm with the press. And,
Oh my goodness, what kind of press?
radio.
Could you pull over a little bit here? Because
Sure.
I don't want you to mess up the road. Well, this could take a little bit of time. I'm actually working right now.
Yeah, okay.
I'm busy right now.
Oh, sure, okay. It looks like the people in charge have some kind of rainbow-colored piece of clothing on. This fellow I just talked to had a rainbow tie. I see a woman with a rainbow belt. That's a good way to identify helpers. And yes, it just seems like there are cars parked everywhere. I'm not sure if he's going to be coming back to me. I'm wondering if I should go talk with her. No, actually, could I talk with you a minute?
I've got to get these cars off the road. If you want to pull over, somebody might.
Okay.
Hi, welcome home. Are you looking for a place to park?
I think I'm just going to keep going. I think that's what I was instructed to do by the press crew. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I don't see anybody yelling at me that I'm doing anything wrong, even though I feel like I am. Oh, there's a cute little dog. Okay, so there's a lot of people. It looks like some people are planning on hiking in. Some people are just on the road. Then I'm going up a little bit of a hill here. It looks like their ideal situation was getting people to park back there, which was a relatively flat area. And I have snuck through the crack. There are signs up in bright orange paint that say no parking. One that said no parking next 4.5 miles. It looks like it's going to be pretty empty then for the rest of the drive in. The family has been working closely with the Forest Service to identify areas that are archaeological sites or are more sensitive environmental areas. And it looks like the family's done a really good job. Wow, this is gorgeous. What a gorgeous place. Just giant evergreen trees as far as you can see. There have been a couple people walking on the road, a couple hitchhikers. There was one man I passed with just a small day pack on. It looked like he was much at peace back on the land. It's really gorgeous. There are a few felled trees. It's very quiet. The sky is clearing a little bit. It was looking quite ominous as I was driving up the mountain. Very dark, actually black clouds. And I thought, I better get up there quick so I can get my tent up. It's close to 3 o'clock now. I had planned on getting here much earlier today, but that's okay. I think it worked out well, given the earth an opportunity to dry out a little bit before I put my tent up. see just hear a few birds chirping. It's a windy road, but not hilly. We really are on the top. Must be just a massive space that they've identified for this gathering. As I was pulling in, that first gentleman I spoke with was explaining that they are shuttling people from that welcome center to the actual gathering site. He said there is no more parking available out here. We'll see what it's like when I get there. Beautiful, bright purple wildflowers everywhere against the green grass and trees. The air has a very fresh feeling because it did rain quite a bit last night, and they're expecting more rain, I think, over the weekend. Hello, sir. Hi, how are you?
Doing wonderfully. How are you doing?
Oh, you're so awesome.
I try.
I'm with the media, and I was given this map that I'm not sure exactly where we are. If you
We are here.
Oh my gosh. So she told me that the media parking was down there.
Down there?
Is that correct?
Yep, that's right here. This way.
Okay, so it's about how many more miles?
Let's see. Right here is a mile and a half.
Okay, awesome. So I just keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
You're kind. People with guitars, people with no shirts, people with tie-dye t-shirts, people waving, people with hats, people on crutches, people with beat-up cars, people with fancy cars, people with backpacks. I can see now, and I'm probably have not even begun to taste the amount of effort that goes into building the infrastructure for this. 3 hikers on the road here with carrying their water in, baby in a baby carriage. This would be probably one of the last points they hope that people will be parking at. Now the cars are gone, and I am seeing people walking in with jugs of water. The family does ask that you bring in water, but it is difficult to do if you're going to be staying a couple days. We are at a pretty high altitude, I believe, at least 10,000 feet. People who are coming in from out of state would have a little bit of a challenge adjusting to that altitude, and so water is really important. Somebody's slowing me down here. Hello, sir.
Where you going, lady?
Pardon me? Yeah, I was.
Oh, that's not a microphone, is it?
Yes, I'm with the media.
Oh, you're talking? No.
No? Turn it off?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, wow. I wonder
I need Jimmy!
Yeah, I think I have found a camp. Yes, I think that was the A camp welcome zone, because those people were definitely inebriated. Everybody's so sweet, though. I just want to hug them and kiss them after they take a shower. Now I've found more cars along the road. Yeah, I definitely got to slow down here. I'm sure this is such a wonderful experience for people who've come so many years in a row, because it really is a family reunion. In terms of keeping my own peace vibe on, I'm noticing all the guilt I'm feeling about getting special parking. I feel overprivileged, but it's pretty fun. Folks, there are just cars everywhere. I can see why they stop people at the entrance, because now it's just an endless stream. One side of the road, if you can visualize a national park with trees and gullies and someplace edges where people can precariously park their cars, that's what we're talking about. License tags from all over: Wisconsin, Colorado, Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Texas. These are just all in a row. Hey! Oh, that's so sweet. He got so excited to see me. Love you! I was going to say, I don't know if people get this kind of welcome when they go home. I do. My family's so sweet. People get excited about
seeing you. Thank you. I like having this microphone because it sort of semi-explains why I'm getting to cheat. I must have a lot of strange cheating energy. Hi.
Who are you?
I'm Suzanne. Who are you? I'm with the media, and I was given this by the media folks that I was supposed to come in and park in the media parking.
This is the media. Here, okay. Hey, hey, I got, no. This is media. Shuttle. Do you want to talk to me?
I don't know. What's your name?
My name is Gigi. I'm one of the gate attendants. All I do is direct traffic. The only thing I tell people to do is put seatbelts on.
Okay.
Make sure they go 5 miles an hour.
Okay.
Please, you buckle up, ma'am. That's the first thing I'm asking.
Yes, sir. I am buckled up. Is it okay?
Hey, this is the media person, and she just interviewed me.
Wow.
I told her to go 5 miles an hour. Buckle up.
Okay, got it, Gigi. Hello, sir. Do I just keep going?
I'm not a sir.
Oh, yes, you are.
Well,
hey,
I'm
just.
a Vietnam vet, but I'm not a sir. I don't swear at you.
Oh, okay.
How you doing, sis?
Hey, doll.
What's your name?
I'm Suzanne. What's your name?
My name is Shuttle.
Shuttle, you're awesome. I'm with the media, so can I just keep going?
Sure, not
okay.
a problem, but let people know that you're recording.
Yes, I will.
Because some people get uptight about it.
Oh, I ask everybody. I'm sorry, I didn't ask your permission.
Yeah, no, it's fine. The federal government has a dictionary of pictures of me since 1972. And I'm not a criminal, so there's nothing they can do with me anyway.
Okay, awesome.
Love you.
Love you. This is what's so great about nobody's in charge. It's like I keep wanting to look for somebody who's in charge, but nobody's in charge. There is no boss. I have this, all of a sudden I have a fear that I'm going to drive right by the gathering. It's just cars and cars and cars. There was a space right there, but you know what? I'm still going to keep looking for, hey there, I'm still going to keep looking for media parking. I think according to my math, hello there, gentleman with a purple flower behind his ear. That was the right ear. In Hawaii, a woman says if she's available or unavailable, according to which ear she places a flower behind. I can never remember if it's right as available or unavailable. He probably is not familiar with that local custom. Here's a gentleman pulling a yellow wagon, which is a very clever technique. He's got a plastic tub and a big box that says marshmallows. So I'm thinking he's going to be a really... That's okay, no problem. And there's a guy with a big sack of flour on his back. So they must be transporting the food for a cookout tonight, I'm hoping. Hello. Holy cow, there are a lot of cars, a lot of people. There's a little BMW that looks like it's about to fall down a ravine. That was really funny when Shuttle took my yellow map and put it under my windshield. It just looks so official. It's so funny what we decide as official and unofficial. And I have had some anxiety just looking for who is in charge. Whoever's in charge will make me feel peaceful. Oh boy, isn't that kooky? I'm in charge, you're in charge, each of us is in charge. It is a gorgeous day. If you've never been to New Mexico has the most stirring, enlivening, luminescent blue sky. Today it's mixed with some white clouds, but the air is so fresh up here. There are some storm clouds moving in.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey there! I'm looking for the media parking. Could y'all point me that way? I'm Suzanne. I'm with Peace Talks Radio.
Are you really? We're so happy that you're here.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Welcome home.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Sister, it's nice.
Oh my gosh, you're a doll. I work for, is it okay? Do you guys want to be taped?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, because I need to get your full names.
What are you looking for now?
Well, I got this. So, could you guys give me that? Somebody in A camp took my map, but I was given
funny and don't look like you'd hang
Well,
out there.
Well,
right now you're right here.
Oh, did I miss the whole party?
No, there's a trail that goes right down here to Kid Village, right here.
Oh, you guys, how did I
That's
miss?
the main trailhead right up over here.
How did I miss media parking?
Well, probably because it was all parked in.
Oh.
But I'll tell you what, we'll get you right over here.
Okay, but I got a lot of gear.
No, it don't matter.
Is there a
We can-
camp close by that I can?
Well,
really?
We're right here, and I was going to get you right over here.
Okay.
Safe, trust me, this is the safest place
Here
you can
now.
be.
Okay.
So
Trust me.
let me get you over
It's
here.
the Love and Evans, baby.
Oh, right. Oh, the Love and Evans. I read about you guys. Oh my gosh.
Now I'm going to guide you in, so just pull up and then back in.
Okay. Pull in and back. I don't like this. I wanted to be in media parking, but when you're at the gathering, you go with the flow. Oh, you guys, I missed the whole media parking thing. I have to deal with my sadness a little bit. Where the heck am I, and where are the authorities? That guy just walked away from me. You are on your own, sister. Now, he was a really nice guy. He had a great big wide-brimmed hat, shirtless, dark tan. Wonder what happened to my Love and Ovens girlfriend. Help, I am on my own.
I would be Jade Spratt, the doggy mommy, I suppose.
Excellent.
Everyone
Great.
here has, sort of monikers, I suppose,
Right.
And I think that they evolve. From what I understand, sort of like in Native American tribalism, where you're given a name at birth and then you mature and the tribe gives you a new name and so on and so forth. I see people's monikers evolving as they do things that are noteworthy and such. They get new names or nicknames or things that
Or they
reflect
just
what
pick
they
one
do.
out the air and say thank you.
Or you could do that. You could name yourself, I suppose.
Oh, I thought they were
Different members of the family might go, oh man, you've gone over the edge. Your name's Crispy now, or something like that.
One kid, I guess, was up baking donuts all night, so they named him Master Donut something or other because they were so impressed by his culinary skills. So he got a special nickname relative to that. And sometimes they just come by the wayside. There was a young man who I don't know his name, but him and I helped to put up the panels of the Sweat Lodge teepee in the main meadow. But he was so agile in climbing the poles barefoot and manipulating the ropes with his toes that he probably will forever be known as Monkey Boy. And that's what we call him, Monkey Boy.
Is this your first gathering?
Absolutely. I wanted to go last year, but I had commitments that took me elsewhere. So even though I've known a lot of people who do this is the first opportunity I've had to go to an event, a regional event, let alone a local event. So
National event.
it's a national event. It's the big one. If you're going to do it right.
There's even international. I've never been to international.
A friend of ours went to Brazil a few years ago.
Well, last year's one in Wyoming was considered an international, wasn't it?
I don't know. I thought it was.
That was the national, I think.
Yeah,
That
and
where
there's
they had
lots
the
of people
problems.
I'm sorry, what?
Where they had the problems in Wyoming? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the incident that everybody's still so troubled by happened last year in Wyoming. So maybe it was a good thing I wasn't there. I don't know. I guess you're always where you're supposed to be.
What are you looking forward to in terms of the gathering regarding peace?
Well, I think personally, just for me, is it's fascinating to see different perspectives on how to deal with situations. Of keeping peace and enacting peace, and the people within the family, how they deal with problems and confrontations, is a little bit.
That type of peace.
I know, but I'm just saying I'm learning more about how to generate peace within myself and my friends. That whole thing about let it begin with me or whatever, as they say. It sounds so cliche, but actually, there's a lot of people here who deal with things differently than maybe mainstream society does. So if you can't have it here, where are you going to have it? If you can't lead by example.
Right, like what? What have you seen that's new and different to you?
Well, we had, alcohol is discouraged, but we had a gentleman that probably had a little bit too much to drink. So instead of, escorting him on down the road, 5 people just sat and babysat him. We had a situation where some younger kids who weren't keeping their camp maybe tidy enough, it was suggested, well, why don't we all have a house cleaning crew, and we'll go over and we'll do it for them once and show them what we expect, and that way they have the opportunity to do better the next time, but let's as a group set an example for them and show them a different way and what we're about. And I thought it was kind of refreshing, to just think a little outside the box and problem solve from some different perspectives.
Right.
Hey guys, what you got on the wish list? Coffee, propane, water. Water's good. Ladles, large pot with lid, fresh veggies, fruit. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. If I can find anything you're looking for, I'll bring it back this way. Thank you so much.
Nice looking kitchen.
Yes, this is Sweet Home, Alabama.
Oh, awesome. It's just beautiful. There's a baby across the stream.
It's amazingly beautiful.
So we're walking through Kitty Village. It's just fantastic. Tents, tie-dye, people.
And people are waiting in line right now for some food.
Walking out into the main valley. How many people do you think that is, Jack?
Right here, right now?
Yeah.
Oh, about maybe 2,500. There's probably about 5,000 people here right now, maybe 6. And they're throughout the woods and the kitchens, preparing meals.
As the Forest Service anticipated, I think.
They have a giant chess set here.
Laundry, I see.
Yeah,
laundry lines.
diapers, kids' clothes.
So what year was your first gathering?
Oh, God, 16 from today, what would that be?
So you did 16 in a row?
That was back in
83?
No, I was back in 86, 87.
How has it changed?
Actually, it's gotten better. I mean, there are a little bit less people coming right now, but it's gotten a lot better. I mean, more people are in touch with everything around them now, and they take it back to the community with them. That's what's nice about it, because you've got all walks of life here. You've got doctors, lawyers, people who live on the streets, and they all intermix and intermingle, and they take it back to their communities with them, and hopefully that'll spread to somebody else.
What do you think the reason is that fewer people are coming?
Well, a lot of it has to do with law enforcement. The law enforcement and U.S. Marshals come in here, and it's like they give somebody a ticket for no safety belt while they're driving down a forest road. Okay, and if they don't show up, they put a warrant out for them, so the U.S. Marshals come in here and arrest them, try to create a scene, and they actually get paid to be here for training for crowd control.
And the word's gotten out at what? It's just not as much fun, or it's a hassle? Because I noticed there were...
It's a hassle because people are driving long distance from around the United States, and they come here and they get pulled over at 2 o'clock in the morning and everything thrown and rifled out of their cars and their houses, and they don't put it back. They make the person who was the victim put it back, and they might not find anything.
I heard that there was a permit for the gathering this year, which means it should be a legal gathering. So why are the people getting hassled if it's legal?
Well, they have a budget that they have to meet. They get a budget, a federal budget, and all these law enforcement officers are imported from all over the United States for this incident command team. The local sheriffs, they really don't like them coming in because they'd rather get the revenue if they're going to arrest somebody or give them a ticket, get the revenue themselves for their county. They don't get anything by helping the Leos out here, But
so actually, there's another level of conflict. You think there's conflict between the local law enforcement and the Forest Service?
Oh yeah, definitely there is. The local law enforcement, like I said, they want to police their own backyards. They don't want to be dictated to by another agency. And that's what the Forest Service does when they come in here and enforce like this, is they are dictating what the protocol and procedures are going to be.
I did stop at the Cuba Forest Ranger Station. She did say that there were some felonies. What, 6? Did you hear about the stab? So there were 6 felonies arrests, and there was a stabbing.
You know, this is like anywhere you go. You know, any community you go to in the United States of America, you're going to have good people, you're going to have bad people, you're going to have in-between people. You know, and sure, they've had some incidences that happened. It all got taken care of by the local sheriff, and then the Leos, the Forest Service, comes in and takes over their jurisdiction on it. You know, with the U.S. Marshals and everything, Shantasina, which is everybody here, they're peacekeepers. That's what Shantasina means. And we have turned over violent offenders, pedophiles, murderers, rapists. We have turned them over to them out there to let them deal with them. They've never come in and caught anybody on their own without the family's help, you know.
I noticed your radio there on your shoulder. Are you somebody official?
Nope. I monitor the different channels because we have Fire Watch channel, we have Shantasina channel, we have parking channels. So everything's handled by the people that come here. They see something that needs to be done, they volunteer to help do it. Okay, so you'll have people walking around in the middle of the night checking fires to make sure it's safe, that they have 5 gallons of water and a shovel with them, you know. You might have a domestic dispute between a husband and a wife, or a girlfriend and a boyfriend. You'll have family members that will come and counsel with them, you know, to get things taken care of. You know, so we're pretty self-sufficient. Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Donnie.
Hey, Donnie.
I've offered to walk you through the gathering if you'd like.
Oh, you're awesome.
She's camped up by us. Okay, we're up here at the barking lot, so if you take this trailhead right by Kitty Village, straight up that way, it takes you right to the barking lot.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We were thinking about taking her over to Info.
Yeah.
Maybe talking to some people there. Taking her over to Calm. Talking to some people at Calm. Maybe hitting Milliways or Lovin' Ovens, something like that. If we went that way after talking to Calm and Info and that, we could probably hit the Ovens and Granola Funk, and then if she wanted to go back up to get some weather clothes on for the night, she can go up to the road and hitch a ride back to the barking lot.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Jack, you've been very kind. I'll see you guys around.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I really
Yeah,
appreciate
you know,
your kindness.
Funny. It's a kind of spread out, and there's a lot of people, but you seem to keep running into the same one.
Okay, good.
You know, I
He
don't.
has
It
a
seems so
radio,
small.